right. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to the Preventive Care webinar. This is the Preventive Care webinar 5.0, and we're excited to be here. I want to welcome you especially to this edition of the Preventive Care webinar. Right here with us is the double doctor, one you've been hearing about, and today we're going to be going in on the topic we have for today. And we're going to be examining it from different perspectives. But first off, I want you to take the link that brought you here and then send it out to your friends, send it out to your enemies, send it out to your exes, send it out to your friends, your family. Everyone, you have to bring them in here because we're getting started immediately and we're getting deep into it. All right, so last month, in May, we invited someone who talked to us on fitness and how to go about preventive care when it comes to our fitness and how to keep fit. And during that session, I think it was very explosive. The person who was taking us on busted so many myths we had around the fitness sector, because the fitness sector is one of the major sectors that people just go out there and they do what they want just because someone is ripped and have all of that six packs and looks good does not just mean they are fit. So it was an explosive session, and the replay is still on our YouTube channel. But today I have the double doctor, and he's going to be talking to us on how to prevent certain diseases that come up during our lifetime, certain dangerous diseases like hypertension, diabetes, and heart disease. Now, research states that 70%, there was a research conducted last year, and it stated that about 70 million people died last year. And in that 70 million recorded deaths, 70% of those deaths were as a result of NCDs, that means non-communicable diseases, things that could have been prevented by either lifestyle modification or certain preventive measures. The idea is that these are things that could have been prevented, but because of lifestyle, the way people live and the way people do things, those things weren't prevented. 70% of the deaths last year, 2023. So it should bring our attention to these very crucial matters. Diabetes is one of the leading NCDs. We have hypertension and heart diseases. So we need to look into these things to know how to start going about them concerning our health. Very crucial. So we're going to be delving deep into it. As usual, we'll delve into it by talking about preventive care. So preventive care, just like we've been hearing, are those actions you take to prevent the onset of disease or the progression of diseases. So today, the double doctor is going to be taking us on how to prevent the onset of hypertension, the onset of diabetes, the onset of heart disease, and also the progression. If you already have it, what to do about it, how to prevent the progression. So without further ado, we're going to be bringing on the double doctor onto the stage. He is right here with us. Please put your hands together in the comments section. If you are there, put your virtual hands together as we welcome the one and only double doctor. Put your hands together for him. All right.
All right. Good evening,
Doctor. You are welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you to be this evening. They are related, kind of, right? Usually, when you see people with diabetes or hypertension, if they are not properly taken care of, that one Hypertension is a leading cause. So we are going to be looking. You know what you can do. First of all, hypertension is a situation where somebody has a blood pressure that is, above the normal limit. Funny enough, let me say this. So yesterday, a friend of mine, we were just decided. I mean, from nowhere, he just said to me, "Shey, the normal blood pressure is 120/80," and I said to him, "Who told you that?" The reason being that, I mean, this is a common perception that people carry around, that your BP has to be 120/80 before it's considered normal. That is absolutely not the case, because everybody, normally, ideally, your BP should be less than 120 or less than 80 for you to consider it normal, ideally. However, there are, of course, acceptable limits outside that range, which can be up from 120 to 129, still less than 80. You can, you can still be, for the want for a better word, maybe permitted to move around with such blood pressure. I mean, nobody will probably bat an eyelid, but you need to begin to, to take steps. I mean, part of what we are going to be talking about today. And then by the time it goes higher than that, then you need to begin to be very careful. However, as your BP gets up to 140/90, then you are clinically classified as being hypertensive. And then we have for diabetes, usually there's what we call a fasting blood sugar, which it tells that it's done after an overnight fast. Usually, you need a minimum of between 8 to 10 hours fast, and before that test is done. So if you have anywhere between 3.5 and 5.5 millimole per liter, right, of sugar in the blood, then we say you are considered to be within the normal range of blood sugar. So this is just by way of introducing to us what these two items are. And the values for these two entities, usually they change. There's what we call the circadian rhythm in the human body. It refers to the series of changes, both physical and mental and behavioral change that goes on in the human body, over a 24-hour period, which is controlled by a center in the brain known as hypothalamus. So what that means is that your blood pressure is not static throughout the day, and even from between day to day is not a particular number. It changes, just that it has to be within a certain range. So your BP during the day tends to be higher than your BP in the evening. If you need to measure your BP, you have to do that while you are seated comfortably with both legs supported, and then you are relaxed. Ideally, you should take your BP on both arms, both the left and right arm. It's people who have gotten conversant to doing it just on one arm, particularly using the left. But ideally, you should take it on both arms, and then you now take the one that is highest of the two as your BP for that time period that you are checking your BP. As nature will have it, this is the opposite for diabetes, right? Your blood sugar tends to be higher at night than it is during the day. But for your BP, it tends to be higher during the day than it is when you take it in the evening. So this is just to just a way of helping people to understand these concepts a little bit, a little better. Then with respect to heart disease, like I said earlier, that hypertension is one of the known causes of heart disease. We have several of them, which probably will not delve into much in this discussion. We have coronary heart disease, we have angina, we have cardiomyopathy, so many so many different conditions that somebody can have in the heart, and then you consider that that individual has a heart disease. But the bottom line is that if you are able to observe this the preventive measures, then you have cut your risk down by a great deal. Now, I'll say this. There's what is called fetal programming. Okay, let me rewind a little bit. When we talk online, we try to give, as many of us are active on the social media space, trying to make health content available to people. And here many people say, I mean, our forefathers have been doing this, our parents did this, and then they lived long, they didn't die, all that. And for the funny thing is that many of us do not even know how old those forefathers were before they died. They may not be aware of what killed them. May not be aware of how much longer they would have lived if they were not doing those things. They also tend to forget that the society where we live at the moment is a lot more unhealthy compared in terms of pollution and lifestyle changes that have happened compared to what was happening in the days of our forefathers. So these are some things that people do not take into account. And again, given the fact that they used to be more active than we are these days, and then they ate more healthily because they walked to the back of the compound or to the farm. They had lots of fruits, vegetables that they ate back then in the day compared to what we do at this time. So I think I would like to say that people, when they make those statements, have these factors that are placed at the back of their mind before they begin to make those comments, because there's no two individual that is the same biologically, which is where I'm not going to talk about the fetal programming that we're talking about here. Fetal programming refers to a situation where how the organs, right, how the individual is formed right from the womb of the mother. So right from when you are conceived, you suffer some disadvantages that predisposes you to developing these conditions, that is hypertension and diabetes now, by virtue of the status, the health status, and the nutritional status of the woman who was pregnant with you at that time. What happens is, with a woman who is nutritionally deficient, right, it tends to affect the way your blood vessels develop while in the womb. Even your pancreas, the way the beta cells are formed, that nutritional status have an effect on how you are programmed. That's why it's called fetal programming, right? Because that is the foundation for how your health is going to turn out later on in life. Even in childhood, the same thing happens as you tend to suffer nutritional inadequacies, right? It tends to lay a foundation for how your body tends to manage the food that you eat, and even sets the stage for your appetite for certain kinds of food. So that is at that level. Then also have genetic component. I mean, I'm sure many people would have heard that they say that hypertension tends to run in the family. Of course, that is with respect to the fact that there are certain genes that tend to predispose you to becoming either diabetic or hypertensive. That is why if somebody has a parent or a sibling who is hypertensive or diabetic, they say that you have a greater risk of also becoming diabetic or hypertensive compared to somebody who is not. However, the advantage that you now have, even though, I mean, I will call this 2 goes down. I mean, 2 goes down because you have become predisposed by virtue of your genetic makeup and the fact of what may have happened during your childhood and at the time that you were in your mother's womb during conception, right? So this have put you at a certain risk that you may not be aware of, right? And this may not be so for everybody, but because you do not know, the question there is, do you want to take that risk and play with your health, right? So the place where you are not able to do anything about it is with respect to the environment where you find yourself, the things you do, the things you do, the things that you do not do, the food that you eat and all that. So those are additional factors that tend to either make you come down with the disease faster or not to come down with the disease at all. So these days we eat a lot of fast food, that are high in calorie. You have people who eat a lot of refined sugars. We eat a lot of saturated fat. So these items or these food items tend to increase your risk, right? First, the there's what we call weight gain, obesity, or metabolic. Obesity is a component of metabolic syndrome, which is a clinical condition that tends to increase your risk of this condition that we are talking about. And then we have low nutrient diet. Of course, because of the economic status, people tend to want to buy fast food, thinking that it is cheaper, and they just give you empty calories, like they say. The general idea is the fact that, the higher calorie that you take, the more likely it is that you are going to add weight. But again, this necessarily not be the case. This is just providing the information as complete as practical, because of the filter program that I've talked about. So people do not process things in exactly the same way. So that is why you can see two people doing exactly the same thing where they come out with different results. But again, like I said earlier, you do not know where you belong. So do you want to take that risk? Now back to the issue of low nutrients, right? So I did mention forefathers, as people often refer to them, going to the back of their houses to get fruits, fresh vegetables, and all that, because these food items are the greatest source of fibers that we need to keep us healthy. Fiber in your diet tends to make you feel fuller on time, makes you stay fuller for longer. Helps to manage blood sugar, right? And so with that in mind, you can see how it contributes to helping you to reduce this ailment that we're talking about. You have fiber, you have minerals and vitamins. Again, this also have a role that they play in helping you to stave off these two items that we are talking about. And then we have those who like to eat a lot of salt. With salt, what salt does is, if you have a lot of salt in your body, what it does is help retains water, makes your body to retain water, increases your blood volume, puts more pressure on your heart, and then because it increases the workload that the heart will need to do, and then you tend to develop high blood pressure. There's a lot of stress going on with us in this time, right? And with stress, there's your body tend to release certain hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, which tend to raise your blood pressure on their own, right? In the short term, may not give you hypertension, but over a period of time, if it continues in that manner, then it contributes to you developing, hypertension, as it were. Now, so these are, the things that we do that tend to predispose us to this kind of ailment, right? But like I said, we can take certain steps on our own to tend to reduce the risk of coming down with this ailment. And what are these things that we can do? So this we have already mentioned some of them. If you know the things that would predispose you, definitely you know that not doing those things will automatically reverse the order. We have a lot of sitting down. We do a lot of sitting down this period. With the advent of technology, we watch TV, we work on our phones, we work on laptops. Remote working is what we do these days. So that makes us to be a lot more sedentary. We drive to the office, we take the lift, unlike people back in the day that do a lot of working around. So physical activity is something that we need to be engaged in a lot. So with physical activity, particularly these activities that tend to engage the bulk muscles of the body, what they do is that they encourage the pool of glucose, they encourage uptake of glucose or sugar from the blood, and then tend to keep your blood sugar level. With this physical activity too, it gets your heart pumping, right? So it exercises your heart, makes the heart muscles to become stronger. So it is easier for them to pump and push blood around the body without too much problem. And so that is the way physical activity, the mechanism that physical activity helps to reduce your blood pressure and then your blood sugar. So physical activity or exercises are things that you need to do. Walking, you can never go wrong with brisk walking. Walking, right? And you can never go wrong with that. It's swimming, cycling. There's just a lot of different types of exercise that you can do. And I heard Prosper talking a while ago about the need for people to be careful with with exercise, right? It's not just everybody who has six-pack that is a physical trainer. So if you want to go to the gym, you need to speak with your doctor. You need to be sure that you have a qualified trainer, right, in the gym that that can work with you. So these are things that you need to do. Physical activity. Then you need to watch what you eat. Reduce the amount of sugar that you take, refined sugar, for example. Please reduce the amount of salt that you take, reduce the amount of sodium that you take. So this eating healthy, make sure that your food has fibers, minerals, vitamins. So all this they go a long way in in helping you to do this. Avoid substance use. Avoid substance use. Tobacco use, like smoking and all that. Alcohol consumption. Now, I'll tell you, there is no safe level of alcohol that you can take. This is me providing you with facts. But you can go to the US government website, you can go to the UK government website, you can go to the Canadian government site and check this out. You see, they have a disclaimer, even because I know they say that moderate consumption of alcohol has one benefit or the other. If you go to their website where they talk about alcohol, you will see that disclaimer there, that there is no level of alcohol that is safe for you, because definitely does numbers on your liver. You need to, people need to understand that and know that, consumption of alcohol, that moderate consumption is just the safest level that you need to take that will do the minimum damage to you. That is what the recommendation has just been given. Not that it doesn't. There's no level of alcohol that has zero effect on you. So the same thing with smoking of tobacco. I did mention stress. How stress causes the release of norepinephrine or noradrenaline, like we say it, and then cortisol. So you need to manage stress. Breathing exercises, doing yoga, those things that you need to do to help you to manage stress. Sleep. We see a lot of what they call them, motivational speakers, right? Talking about you need to walk around the clock because you need to make it. The truth is, and if you recall, I had talked about the circadian rhythm, right, of the body. The body has a cycle that it goes through every 24 hours. So saying that you will not sleep, I do not know. You are just doing yourself more harm. You need a minimum of 6 hours of sleep, right? Between 6 to 9 hours of sleep is what you require on a daily basis. So to keep yourself healthy. If you do not do that, what it does is to do numbers on your body, cause a derangement in the hormones of your body, and part of what your body gets into a state of stress, and then you tend to release those stress hormones that over time will do numbers on you, and then you begin to come down with this chronic conditions. And because diabetes, hypertension, they are classified as chronic conditions. Chronic conditions are conditions that usually last, generally speaking, that last for up to minimum of 3 months, right? So that's the general rule of thumb description of what chronic conditions are, and this is what these ailments are. So these are the things that you need to do in order to stave off this condition. Remember, your RE2 goes down by virtue of your biological makeup, which you do not have any idea of what it is, and then the programming that you have undergone during your stay in the womb, and then the economic status of your parents at the time that you were growing up. Then we also need to be careful with the things that we expose ourselves to. Our environment, we have a lot of contaminant diseases like pesticides that we call endocrine disruptors, right? So they do numbers on your body, interfere with the way hormones function in your body, and then they can, predispose you to these conditions, as it were. So I think I will leave it here for now, so that we can take questions, as Prosper initially informed that we're only going to do this for 30 minutes. So thank you for listening.
So thank you so much for that very good start. I wrote a lot of things down. There's just a lot you've said, and we need to process that. We need to process all of those things. So thank you very much for the salient points you brought up. So a few questions here. There are about 4 questions here, some from what you said, and then some generally what people may be thinking. So first off is for people who maybe their father, their mom, or their grandfather, generally they have this blood sugar or hypertension running in their family. They are predisposed to it by the genes of their parents. So what do they do? What are the preventive measures they should take to ensure that these things don't transfer to them? Probably young people, younger people. So what do they do to ensure that these things that their parents suffered, because they are seeing it, they see their parents suffer from these things. So what are the things they should begin to do now to ensure that these things don't transfer to them? I don't know, should I ask all the questions once, or will you take it one by one?
Okay, maybe let me take it one by one. Okay, maybe let me take it one by one so that.
All right.
So,
all right.
So when you which is what I just elaborated not too long ago. So that is a key, it's a cornerstone to management of those these 2 conditions. So that is what you want to recommend. So you want to be very careful of the things that you eat. You want to be very careful of the things that you do. So I'm sure if you have heard people who using hypertension, for example, you say they tell them not to take salt, right? But again, I think the thing is just to reduce the quantity of salt that you take, not that you need to go off it entirely, just to reduce the quantity. But one very important thing that you need to do is keeping yourself active. You can never go wrong with keeping yourself active, and you can never run away from it. Being active, doing exercise, 30 minutes of moderate exercise, at least 5 days of the week. And you do not have to do 30 minutes at once. If you do not have the time, you can do 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes afternoon, 10 minutes in the evening, right? If you are not able to do that Monday to Friday, if you're only able to exercise Saturdays and Sundays, no problem. The important thing is that you are able to get 150 minutes of exercise in a week. So that is very, very, very important. That people need to understand. You cannot run away from being physically active if you have been predisposed to this condition. And then you now need to begin to watch the things that you eat, right? So because those are the triggers that can now bring this ailment to form.
All right. Thank you very much for your answer. All right. So if you are out there and your parents are having blood sugar or hypertension, then you know what to do. You have to start now to watch what you eat and also make exercise your lifestyle. All right. So the second question here is about exercise. You talked about exercise, and there's been this idea, especially recently, that exercise. When you say exercise, what comes to people's mind is pictures in the gym, the bodies and all of that. And they have this idea that being fit has to mean going to the gym, maybe getting a gym registration or getting gym equipment at home. You have to do all of that. So what do you have to say to people who think like that, or people who are afraid of exercise because they think what it means is going to the gym, having the coach, doing all of that? So what can you say to those people so that they can at least get started with exercise and correct their mindset about it?
Okay, so I think like about 3-4 weeks ago, I posted a video of me doing a walk around in a neighborhood. That was using that to describe to people that you do not need to go to the gym for you to exercise, because you can do exercise anywhere. I have 2 stationary bikes in my house, so you can sit down, you can use your stationary bike, watching your favorite program, and you are exercising away. Right? You do not have to go to the gym for you to exercise. You can walk around your neighborhood. You can do exercise in your compound. There's a skipping rope, right? You can do skipping that is also a form of exercise. You can use your bicycle in your stationary bike in your house. So the bottom line is you do not need. If you go to my page, I think it was like three or 4 weeks ago, you'll see that video where I was doing a walk around the neighborhood. You really do not need to have a gym registration for you to exercise. You can do exercise anyway. What you just need is that motivation to take up that lifestyle. Once you are able to motivate yourself, you can do your exercise anywhere, even in your sitting room.
If you're out there and so if you're out there and you are afraid of getting out, maybe of going out to do exercise, or you don't want to pay for a gym membership, then it is very simple. It is very easy. You can stay in your house. I saw that video. I saw the video last week. I even reposted it. The walk you were. So you can do exercise anywhere. All right. You made mention of yoga. And how it is one of the ways to relieve stress. People that they are doing their works, they have their busy lifestyles and all of that, how yoga is one of the ways they can relieve their stress. Now, there's this misconception, or would I say fear, about yoga. Some people think that based on their religious inclinations, that they don't do yoga, that yoga can be linked to another religion and all of that. And so what alternatives can they explore for stress relief, or to calm their system, or to just maintain all of that that is not yoga? Or do you have any clarifications when it comes to yoga, that it's something they can actually do? So what can you say to that?
Well, I think it's a personal. I, for one, have not participated in any session before, so I won't be able to speak to what it is exactly. But from what I've seen, from literatures, that is not my perception of what yoga is, right? So, but people who are not able to, people who do not want to go to yoga, from what I know, yoga is all about sitting down and meditating. For example, I was going to say mindful breathing, right? Now, mindful breathing is just a way of taking your mind off what is going on around your surrounding and concentrating on yourself, breathing in and breathing out. Right, so that is one thing that you can also do if you are trying to distress. And I've seen people do this. Yoga. I have not participated, like I've said, but I've seen that happen, right, during a yoga session when people do that. So that, which is why I said I personally do not think it has any link with any other religion. And we know that people oftentimes have this phobia for things that they do not really understand. So, but mindful breathing, like I just described, is one thing that people can do.
All right. So there you have it. So it depends on your personal belief and how you want to go about it. But just like you said, there are other options you can explore. All right. So Double Doctor, the last and final question. It's a 2-in-1 question, and we're going to be wrapping up with this. So here's the question. There are so many people that are afraid of taking themselves, going for routine checks. Personally, there are some people I'll talk to. I'll tell them, when was the last time you went for a routine check? They'll be like, it's better I don't find out, because if I find out, for example, I remember telling someone to check his blood pressure. He said it's better I don't find out, because if I find out, then that's when I'll start panicking, and then the real blood pressure will come. So it's better I don't check it. So there are people like that. That's the way they think. That's the way they go about their daily life. So they don't want to go for any routine checks. So the first part of the question is, what do you have to tell those people? How do they need to start thinking? And then secondly, what are the routine checks that young people can begin to go for to have a handle on their health and know what is going on, know their general health overview. What are some of those things they need to check on a on a regular basis? Take it away.
So for the first part, I'm sure we are all familiar with the I'm sure we are all to be forewarned is to be forearmed, right? So if you do not, the chronic conditions, right, have better outcomes in terms of management if you catch them early. We see, these days that people are always worried about cancer. People talk about cancer cases and then people are afraid, right? But we know, and it's been shown over and over, that if only people came to the hospital on time, if only diagnosis was made on time, those people would have been saved, right? So, ideally, it is better for you to go for that checkup. You find out what the issue is, and then you nip it in bud, like the white man will say. You nip it in the bud as it is just rearing its ugly head. You cut it off. I mean, so in public health, there are when we talk about prevention, there are four levels of prevention. We have primordial, primary, secondary, and tertiary prevention. Now, the regular checkup falls under secondary, because in secondary prevention, that is what is happening there is that you are going for checkup, where so that you are able to find out that there's something trying to happen very early. Like, for example, women from the age of 30, 35 say they should do pap smear, right? Because we want to see whether there are changes going on in the cervix because you are worried about cervical cancer. So, and if you, I mean, we know that it's one of the leading causes of, cancer death in women, right? Cervical cancer, breast cancer, and women are advised to do self-breast exam every month. Why? Because you want to catch it early. So if you are not able to catch it early, then what exactly are you not going to do? So it's when you do those routine checks, right, that you find these things out early, and then you are able to take quick action, and then it will save you a lot of stress further down the road. Unlike when you do not know, and then it now creeps up on you like a thief in the night, and then you are only at that time they will not only if you had come earlier, and then because which is, for me, it will look like that's what they say, penny wise pound foolish. If you say you don't want to do test because you do not want to know, right? So that is what I will have to say for that first. And then for the second part of the question in terms of what we need to do. Yeah, so there are a certain times where certain tests are recommended, right? Like the two that I just mentioned now is for women who are already, far well advanced in age. But again, we know that we are beginning to see these things happen in young people because of changes that we have in the environment. We're beginning to see people come down with kidney disease that we normally reserve for old people. We are seeing young people with hypertension. We're seeing young people with diabetes. I'm talking about type 2 diabetes now, unlike type 1 that people are born with, right? So generally, people need to do from head down, your eyes. You at least if it's every 2 years, you need to, for people who do not have any eye problem, right? I mean, once in 2 years, you can go have your eyes checked out. You can go have your mouth checked out by the dentist, dental checkup. There's what we call renal function test, where you do to check your kidneys. You check your liver, what we call a liver function test that you need to. And this thing, I mean, you just go, you draw blood sample, and then you take to the lab, and then in a couple of days the result is out. You can, for goodness sake, we have HIV. How many people know their HIV status? The issue is not wanting to know. The issue is when you know, and then you take precaution that is required. If HIV/AIDS is diagnosed early, you begin to, and if you need to take medication, you begin to take the medication. It reduces the amount of people that will become infected because of you, and then you also prolongs your life, because as you take the earlier you start taking the medication, the better it is. It is for you. So there are just several tests that people will need. Like these are just routine ones that I mentioned. Even as simple as a full blood count, it gives a picture of what is going on in your body. With a full blood count, you can tell that somebody, this person has anemia, for example, and you can now begin to say, okay, what kind of anemia is this person having? You can now begin to to dig deeper to find out and to discover what ordinarily somebody will not have even known. Even stool microscopy, because somebody can be infested with some parasite that the person did not know, but by doing the stool microscopy, you can find out that, oh, somebody even has this problem, and then you can now you can now deal with it, as it were. So these are just some few tests that people can do every now and again to check their health.
All right. Thank you very much, the Double Doctor. It has been an amazing session. I've written down a lot of things, and I'm sure our audience have also learned a lot. And some myths have been cleared up, and they stand better chances of being in control of their health and preventing these chronic diseases that threaten humans, that threaten people. All right. So thank you so much for being on here with us in this session. We're already almost 15 minutes in. So the last thing, how can we keep tabs with you? How can we stay connected with you? Everybody that has watched, everybody that have learned, how can we stay connected with you? Do you have any events coming up? Do you have whatever, maybe your products or your services? You can tell them, and then how we can stay connected with you on social media and keep tabs with you.
I'm active on the popular social media, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, now called X, Facebook, and even YouTube, right? And my handle is the same name, the Double Doctor, except that for Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok is in small letters, right? The Double Doctor, the double _ doctor for those 3 channels. Then for Facebook, that is what you are seeing on the display them on the screen there. Then my YouTube handle is the Double Doctor, just one word. It's not THE, it's the Double Doctor. Do it is written here, just that there's no space. It's only on Facebook that you have it written in this format. And for the other channel handles, is the Double Doctor, one word for YouTube, and then the double _ doctor for the remaining 3 channels. And in terms of upcoming events, so what I do at the moment predominantly just to provide health information to the people out there, because that is what I am doing at the moment, just to keep people enlightened and informed about what is going on about their health. I have something coming out no distant time. I mean, it's going to be a live talk on Facebook, but I've not fixed the date yet. It's for a select group of people, but everybody can join. I'm going to be talking about infertility, because it's becoming a major issue at the moment. So the date has not been fixed yet. When that happens, I probably will reach out to you. But those are my handles, so you can connect with me on all social media handles. And I mean, I'm open to responding to DMs, right? So long as you are asking questions that is within my purview to deal with, what I am allowed to do on social media.
Thank you so much for our session today. Thank you so much. It has been an amazing one. It has been an amazing 1 hour, and again, a lot of insights. And so, if you're out there, you can still share the link of this video to your friends and your family. If you love your friends and your people, one way to show that you love them is by encouraging them to take their health seriously. And taking their health seriously starts by being educated concerning their health. So you can share this video to them. The link is going to be dropped. The link to his social media handles is going to be dropped on the community and the community of those who registered. So you can connect with him there. Like he said, his DM is always open. You can reach out to him. You can ask him questions, and then always keep tabs with him. He puts out a lot of content on all of these social media handles. There is a lot you can learn. Just few seconds of his videos, there is a lot you can learn. And one of his unique style is to dispel certain common myths that we have about our health. And that's a very unique strategy. That's a very outstanding thing that he does. I mean, it's a lot easier to hear from someone who is an authority, correcting your mindset on what you think is right. So a very good job you are doing, the Double Doctor. Thank you so much for taking out the time to be here today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Right.
Thank you. So we're going to be ending the session here. You go out there and make the rest of your life the best of your life. Make the rest of your life the best of your life when it comes to your health. Go out there and begin to practice preventive care. Until the next time, we're going to bring the 6th edition of the preventive care webinar. Go out there, make the rest of your life the best of your life when it comes to your health. Cheers, and cheers to steady, robust health.